Okay, say for the recording, or I'll start. Using base Aizen, like a full power base Aizen. He's using Yamamoto. I'm guessing Bankai Yamamoto.
Yeah, just like not sealed or whatever.
Yeah,
We'll go from there.
manga, data books. That's pretty much it, right? Um, so do you want to start or do you want me to start?
You can go.
Man, fuck that. I'm flipping a coin. Which do you want?
Uh, Tails. You gotta show me
Okay,
though.
all right. I'm gonna do it in chat.
Oh, okay.
Wait, tells you start or tells I start?
Tails. You start.
Okay, it's on tails. Okay, I'll start. Aizen stated stronger than Yamamoto.
Yeah, can you show me that?
Yep, stated numerous times actually. I'll get this one. I'll get this one. I'll get this one. There's three different statements, but they all illustrate the same point. They don't even. They say they're stronger than anybody else. They specifically say because of his, not even just because of Kyoka, just that he's stronger than everybody. So,
Alright, so I'm gonna go for the matchless one first.
hmm
This one can just refer to who he's fighting in the chapter, because he's fighting Ichigo,
doubt it.
Renji, and then Kamamura, because Yamamoto's not even on the battlefield when this is happening.
I wouldn't. Well, no. Yamamoto is at this point fighting people. We do see Yamamoto fight.
Yeah,
He's not on the battlefield against Aizen, which you're right about. But I don't think that matchless would be a statement made in reference to people at all.
why?
I mean, if you're gonna make a very general statement in your story, to have it so open ended like this, it would be pretty weird. And not in a normal shonen writing style, especially since this is written for kids. It's more likely just being general since it leaves it open ended. If it's being general, I would say it's more actually it does give us some guidelines, and the guidelines it gives us is the chapter range, not the um characters he's fighting. So it's probably just general to this chapter range. And yes, Yamamoto was fighting this chapter range. So
Well, he was fighting in this chapter range, but he's fighting two different people. He's fighting like
I
Jushiro
told
and
you why. I don't think it matters like whether he's
well,
fighting
yeah.
two different people or not. It's just that since this statement's open-ended and then it gives us these guidelines behind the other guidelines as in matchless compared to like these guys are currently matchless. It's just like he's matchless.
I mean, it could also just be matched just to who's like he directly who's fighting, and like it just makes sense. Like it doesn't
Um,
like really
I think
compare
I've
to.
already kind of refuted that. And then when you go along with other statements, like statements about when he was a kid, hold on, let me
Well, we
get
can get
that.
into that like next. Well,
Well, I mean, since you kind of just repeated your point, like, do you have a new refutation?
mm, no, I think I got
Oh,
it across.
okay,
So,
well then this is just gonna be extra to like not necessarily bring up a new point, but just add to this. Other statements about Aizen being very, lonely and having like matchless exceptional power or exceptional powers compared to everybody that cause him loneliness would add to this matchless status of just being matchless compared to everybody. Because of course, if he was matchless compared to only some people, he wouldn't be lonely.
yeah. So right here, this is like Ichigo's like discovering that he's like matchless or whatever, or not. Sorry, not matchless. Like he's discovering that he's like lonely. This is when he's like in his strongest form, like when he's transcendent and shit. And this is he's just like saying like, oh, if he was born with exceptional powers, maybe he was looking for someone. This is like his theory of like Aizen as like a
The
child and shit.
the theory is very probable though. I mean, at this point, Ichigo can feel people's emotions, and the story alludes to this more by adding in flashbacks to when Aizen was a kid, and then instead of showing a transcendent Aizen, they show Aizen when he was at his base form, and then there's other statements about him being matchless, which I've already explained why I think they're more general to the just those chapter ranges and not just a group of people in the area. And then there's other statements that I've posted which say that he was stronger than anyone else, and because this he was misunderstood by everyone, felt a loneliness, strong isolation. So multiple statements would corroborate this theory from Ichigo, and Ichigo probably has the biggest assertion, since he's the only person who can really feel Aizen's emotions. Nobody else can feel them.
So you're talking about that statement with the green in it, right?
Yeah,
Could you get like the spot in the data book where that's from?
nah,
Why?
because I don't remember which data book it's from.
Okay. I think it's from Unmasked 3.
It is from Mask.
Okay.
If you're about to bring up the fact that it shows a picture of what is it, Monster Aizen,
Yeah.
the picture wouldn't really matter because the statement talks about how he was misunderstood by anyone, and then another consistency of statements um adds that he was misunderstood by everyone, and then another consistency of statements brings up that he was misunderstood from basically birth since he had these exceptional powers. So I don't think it's just talking about as Monster Aizen, especially since as Monster Aizen, he didn't really have a chance to be misunderstood by everyone. Because by the
Yeah.
time he becomes Monster Aizen, fucking Ichigo shows up to fight him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think that picture is what the statement is fucking talking about.
That's no shard. I mean that's what I was gonna go into, but I guess.
Okay, you got any other you got another refutation? Because I did post three statements. So
Yeah,
what's the?
so I guess with this statement right here, this is like Gin just like, he's gassing up Aizen, but he's like talking to the other captains, and this is like before Yamamoto is getting involved. And then, before their fight
I
in
mean,
here.
that doesn't really matter though, because in the statement he says far beyond any precaution, and a precaution would be Yamamoto. I mean, Yamamoto can either like even considers himself like a kind of insurance. Like, if the captains knew Aizen was coming, then a precaution they could take would be like, you know, um, hey, let's go get Yamamoto, this guy who could beat the fuck out of Aizen. But Gin just thinks he's far beyond any precaution. And then, like I said, the reason I'm using these statements in tandem is because they just build a consistency of Aizen being the strongest. Because being far beyond any precaution, because of not just Kyoka, but just his power, would add into being stronger than anybody else and being misunderstood and having a strong sense of isolation, and also just being matchless. So all three of the statements work in tandem to create the picture that he was misunderstood since birth because he was stronger than everybody, which would just include Big Yama.
Um, so one thing I'd like to say is like it's weird that like Gin says Aizen's power is beyond any like precautions that the captains will take, but like Aizen himself makes precautions against Yamamoto.
I think that's because Aizen's subconsciously suppressing himself to kind of make things more interesting, kind of show that he's superior in spite of not needing to fight directly.
Well,
Because
what
if
about
he kind of rejects his power, people think the Hug Hyogo, fuck that up. People
Hogyoku?
think it rejects him because you know, he's like, or people think it's rejecting him, but his want is more so to kind of be normal, kind of lose his power. And even though Aizen couldn't really like throw his power away or make himself normal, he could subconsciously do things that would make it seem that he's weaker than he is, even to himself. For example, he could uh take these extra precautions for people like Yamamoto. And I think even like the data books imply that Kenpachi um requires like these extra precautions when realistically it could just very well be that he's just testing his limits. How smart can I be? How far can I go? Because Aizen does like how smart he is. He likes to kind of flex his intelligence. That's
Yeah.
why he fucking hates Kisuke. I don't think I think pretty much every statement around him kind of being like scared of Yamamoto, or like, oh, Yamamoto would fuck me up, is more like this nigga just having fun and like taking these precautions and showing how smart he can be.
Alright, so you cool if I like get into some
Yeah.
shit to counter? Okay. Just get the scan. So here's just the statement saying that Um, no one has passed him for over 1,000 years, and that this includes Aizen.
Let me see. Which statement did you post? Oh yeah, this one. Um, I just think this is meant to mislead the reader.
Why?
Um, like I said before, I think most of the statements about him being scared of Aizen and Kenpachi are in reference to a like I guess I'll call him like suppressed Aizen or a restricted Aizen who restricts himself to kind of make things more fun and challenge himself more and flex his intelligence. Um, and I think these statements are to like kind of hide the narrative that Aizen is lonely because we're not truly revealed the loneliness until after when Ichigo beats him. With the way Ichigo talks isn't as the loneliness was just there when he transcended, but has always been there. So I think that um these statements are to build like a false narrative around Aizen that we later would just reveal that they're just wrong.
I don't know. I just like it's said like a couple times. There's a couple statements in the data books. If you want me to get them, I guess I
I
can.
mean, yeah, this is said a couple of times, but most of them can just be interpreted exactly that same way, that they're just meant to mislead the reader into Yamamoto seeming to be the strongest at this point, and then later on we just find out that these statements are just wrong. And it's not like Aizen doesn't have his own like strongest statements that I've already posted. He has more than the ones I've posted, but um, these statements themselves, they don't really they all kind of just point to that other statement that was made by Aizen, who Aizen isn't even a trustworthy source himself because he first off Aizen lies a lot, but even if he wasn't lying, he can just be lying to himself because he has this he rejects his power. He doesn't want to be this
Yeah,
strong. He just wishes to be more normal. I think it's more consistent the route that Aizen is stronger. Um, and these are all to build a false narrative around Yamamoto's power. Uh, than have it the other way. I
I
just think it's
yeah.
consistent this way.
I just posted another one, just saying he possesses immense power that I don't know surpass him. This is
Isn't
from the character book.
isn't
Yeah,
this from the like wasn't this oh yeah, yeah, I remember this.
I'll post the link to your in your server later, so you have it.
Yeah, I know this one. Yeah, power power. So Reaper has emerged in 1,000 years. Yeah, I think this is just the same thing. Like I think my refutation can apply to pretty much all these statements. One of them I don't even think requires me to apply the same refutation because one of them is just talking about Yamamoto's hand-to-hand combat, which he is, I guess, the strongest Soul Reaper in hand-to-hand combat. But
Yeah,
I don't think that nigga's actually.
that one I
I,
think um it talks about how he made Wonder Weiss and like no one's like Yamamoto's just good at everything or whatever.
Yeah, but I still think that goes back to my previous refutation of him making Wonder Rice to push himself, push his intelligence, and him uh kind of like subconsciously suppressing himself so he can feel less lonely and just not really going all out. I think all of these statements refer to a restricted Aizen. I think this is even supported by the fact that Aizen gets hit by a forbidden Hado from Yamamoto. Do you agree that hacks can be overpowered in Bleach by a stronger spiritual pressure?
I mean, the problem with that statement or like that action is that Yamamoto's like he just tanked Ryujin Jaka's like flames, so he'd be like nerfed.
I
You know,
mean, to
it's
what
his base.
extent? Do you think
I
his
mean,
spiritual pressure was nerfed?
I mean, it's his base self tanking an attack from like his Shikai, so it should be pretty significant.
I mean, I don't think it's provable that the nerf was like that significant because the the back of the volume even refers to this is his true power. And a Hado 90 from like in where he sacrifices his arm would probably have a similar like output to like if someone chanted over a Hado, right? And then it doesn't even scratch Aizen because he
I mean,
doesn't actually have much visible damage on his body. I don't think you can prove Wonder Whis. Can Wonder Whis even fully utilize Yamamoto's Bankai to its full extent?
well, he's not using his
Or
Bankai though. He's
Shikai, my
Shikai.
bad.
But
Yeah.
why do you think? So you think like the statement, the volume cover is like referring to the Hado that he used, and not like him revealing his like Shikai power?
Um, I think it's probably talking about the Hado.
Why?
Uh, the Shikai, it wouldn't really make sense to be being his true power. Because Shikai isn't the end of someone's power. The Shikai is just like one step closer. It's like a Basset, or not even for everyone. Well, no, because, yeah, a Shikai is like the lesser version of a Bankai, and the Bankai is like the full extent of this person's power. It would make more sense if it was talking about a Bankai, which he never even pulls out. But Regen Jaga is literally Yamamoto sacrificing his arm and using a forbidden Hado to like this is like what he thinks is gonna kill Aizen, or is like his last ditch effort to kill Aizen. And on top of that, this significantly weakens Yamamoto after. Like it's a big detriment to him. I think it's just probably his true power, if I had to say. Also, if you agree that like people
But
can overpower hacks with their spiritual pressure, it would probably mean that like someone's hacks would need to scale to their AP, right? Like being able to output your AP one place would need to be able to output it somewhere else, like into your hacks to make the potency stronger. And if
yeah,
that's true, then he would be able to put his energy into this the same way he would like a Bankai or something, and like blow away Aizen, which I don't think he just since
um,
he just doesn't. I just don't think he would.
yeah, but you know he would be like stronger in Bankai though than like using the Hado, right?
I mean, uh if he used Bankai and Naruto, I don't know how you would prove like that would make him stronger. I think like it allows him to release more of his sword, but does it allow him to release more of his spiritual pressure overall?
I'm pretty sure when he's in Bankai, he's just considered like transcending. He has like transcendent spiritual pressure, if I'm not wrong, and that should just make his like everything just stronger.
When is it stated that he has transcendent spiritual pressure? Is it in a
Uh,
novel or something? Because I don't
no, I
think they
think
ever stated in a data book.
it might be in the fight with the fake Yuha. If I'm wrong, then I'm just my bad, but I can look for it. So it's gonna be before this. Yeah.
Okay, something to do with TikTok. Who's this boy? They got so chip chop.
All right, I'm just gonna drop that point then. Um,
Okay, yeah, because I don't think that nigga's ever stated to have transcendent spiritual pressure. Um, yeah, I don't think it's provable that he can output any more spiritual pressure other than like in his sword power, because obviously that allows you to awaken more of your like an extension to your sword. Um, which I mean, he would probably just be able to output this into a fuck. You know what I'm talking about. He would
yeah.
be able to output into that, and if he can't damage Aizen, then probably just weaker, which would just add to the statements I've already posted with about him just being stronger than everybody, which would add to the narrative that has been consistent for a long ass time now.
And do you think that includes like Aizen like admitting inferiority?
I think like Aizen admitting inferiority is like purely to mislead the audience in the same way. Yeah, because like I've already said it. I think Aizen might believe it, but I think Aizen is wrong because
You just think
he's
he's like gaslighting
subconsciously
himself?
suppressing himself. Yep, something like that. You know, Hollow Mask Ichigo stronger than Yamamoto too.
Alright, bro.
I mean, he's able to damage Aizen.
He like off guards him.
Why would he let his durability down?
I don't fucking know.
He didn't.
That's the whole point
Anyways,
of an off guard, bro.
do you want to leave this to judgment? You want to
Yeah,
concede?
we can leave it to judgment.
Okay, in the recording.
Alright, I got you.
How you do that?
I just do this.